So my code is still working in the setup. I've got my canvas, and in the draw function, which remember is being run about 60 times a second, I've got this kind of animation here of this square that is moving from left to right. But at the moment, when it gets to the edge of the screen, it just disappears. So I'm gonna add another line. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of this circle. Just it tidies everything up for us a little bit. So I want to say if the X position here is greater than the width of my canvas, then I want to reset it. I'm going to want to reset it back to the beginning. So we would write this: if open brackets, and then inside the brackets, that's the condition that we're looking for. What are we checking if it's true or false? So I'm checking to see if this variable here, X, that we are incrementing by 1 here, if X is greater than, and remember I said it's 400 pixels wide, so if it's greater than 400 pixels, then we use the open curly brackets to show, right, this is the action, so then this action I want to do. Then we need to assign X to be back to this initial value of 150. So let's just check that. So don't forget your semicolon at the end. So it's going to run, and it's going to get to the end, and it's going to start back in the middle. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to set the X to 0 there, and then it's going to start on the left, and hopefully, good. It's going to keep cycling around. So we've got a little bit of a basic code there. Let me just add a comment in. That when the square reaches the edge, it cycles back around again. But let's just say for some reason someone came along and they changed my code. So they made it like this, and they made the canvas a little bit bigger, and then it's not quite working how I'd expect it to there, okay, because I'd hard coded in this value in here. So again, I could make a variable. I could call it canvas width. Okay. Now with JavaScript, we use what we call camel case. So camel case looks like this. You've got lowercase to begin with, and then there's no spaces between variable names, but you've got an uppercase letter for the second word. So let the canvas width be equal to 400. Then in here I'm gonna plug in this variable, and again in here I'm gonna plug in this variable. So now when I run it, you should see that it should hopefully work. Good, yep, and I then only need to change this once. So I could change it to 200, and then the code will still work because it's using this variable up here in order to be able to do that. Okay, good, right. There's something else. I'm just going to stop that for a second, that we can use, which is the width and the height. Okay, so let me just have a look at where we might put this. Let me do this. Let me do width divided by 2. So that's going to be half of the width. And then let me make this 800. Let's check what's happening there. So it should, I'm hoping, at halfway along, it's gonna, it did then. Let's just check. That's because I hadn't scrolled along to the right to make it look there. That will make it look a little bit more obvious. So we're getting half of the width here, half of the width of the whole screen, and it's going to jump back to the 0 position, which is this position over here. So that's one thing that you can do with width. You can do that. Now, there's something else that I wanted to quickly go through as well. Let me just change this back to canvas width. Because at the moment, you'll notice that it cycles back when the kind of the back end here, so this bit, then gets there, and it kind of appears all of a sudden. But actually, I kind of want to make it almost like seemingly kind of like reappear over there. So I'm going to create another variable here. This is going to be the square width is going to be equals to 100. So in here, I can just add in square width, so that will work. And here, instead of just saying, okay, let's cycle back to 0, what we need to do is we need to say that it's going to be kind of in the negative numbers. So let's try 0, take away the square width, and let's see what happens then. So it starts there, cycles round. Good, that works. So it's whatever the square width is, to the left, we're going to subtract that off the canvas width here. So you see, using these variables, it helps if we're repeating our code, if we're repeating things in our code a few times, instead of just hard coding it with a value like 100, actually if we're using it more than kind of once, really we should be using this variable, and it creates this nice rolling pattern here.